A great evening to you. This is the news at 6 on MITV. I am Tomi Singh Ujo. President Muhammadu Buhari has cancelled his proposed visit to Zamfara state. The president was scheduled to travel to the northwest state on Thursday for a one-day official visit to condole with the governor and the government and the people of Zamfara over the recent killings of 58 people in Anka and Bukuyum local government areas. The state governor, Bello Matawale, said Buhari was billed to visit Zamfara state after his engagement in Sokoto state, but unfortunately, the poor weather condition will not allow him to do so. He hinted that the president will reschedule his one-day visit to Zamfara next week. The governor also noted he observed the weather conditions since Wednesday and concluded that the president would not be able to come to the state due to the poor weather. A police helicopter which took off from Abuja has crashed at the Bauchi airport, the Accident Investigation Bureau said on Thursday. However, no lives were lost in the accident. The statement said the Accident Investigation Bureau AIB Nigeria was notified by the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency NAMA about an accident involving a Bell 429 helicopter with registration Mark 5 NMDA owned and operated by the Nigeria Police Force. The MPF helicopter had departed Abuja at 16:54 UTC for Bauchi with 6 persons on board, maintaining a 5,500 feet. The investigating agency AIB needs and hereby solicits for assistance. It said they wanted the public to know that they will be amenable to receiving any video clips, evidences, or information any member of the public may have about the accident that could assist in the investigation. The Bureau also will appreciate the general public and the press to respect the privacy of the people involved and not assume the cause of the accident until a formal report is released. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates authorities have lifted its ban placed on inbound flights from Nigeria and 11 other countries. The travel restrictions aren't being placed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and the new variant Omicron. The other countries affected were Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Republic of Congo, South Africa, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Mozambique, Namibia, and Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, entry measures for travelers from Ghana, Rwanda, and Uganda have been updated. The General Civil Aviation Authority and the National Emergency Crisis and Disasters Emergency Management Authority announced. They said the measures take effect from January 29 at 2:30 p.m., adding that a COVID-19 test obtained within 48 hours of departure and a PCR test at the airport in UAE will be required from travelers from the 3 African countries. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund TET Fund has charged Nigerian polytechnics to give industrial training, attachment and the seriousness it deserves for any meaningful progress to be made on the delivery of their mandate. The Executive Secretary of TET Fund, Professor Sulaiman Bogoro, gave the charge on Wednesday at a 2-day capacity building workshop for public polytechnics held in Abuja with the team improving skill development in Nigerian polytechnics for economic growth, entrepreneurship and social inclusion. Bogoro said the reason polytechnics offer industrial training is for students to gain practical field knowledge in the industry, adding the students create and develop skills and competencies that they require to operate during the hands-on industry attachment. Our correspondent for Miriam Enakimo reports that the Test Fund boss, who noted that for Nigerian polytechnics to thrive, they must focus on manpower development for teaching and practicals, said polytechnic lecturers must acquire relevant teaching skills to impart the required industry-tailored knowledge to students. Bogoro further noted that TET Fund will continue to support workshops of this nature as to provide a venue that promotes the betterment of education in Nigeria for the development of the country. The Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, Professor Idris Bugaje, who described the workshop as a wake-up call to every polytechnic to reposition itself for skill development.
The capacity building program by the fund is a support aimed at strengthening beneficiary polytechnics to fulfill their mandates of providing the needed manpower that will put the nation on the path to economic growth and development. Workshops of this nature will continue to deepen our understanding and educate us on our purposes as citizens and as scholars, while consistently reminding us of our obligations and responsibilities in nation building. Following the Industrial Revolution that swept across many European nations, societies have continued to grapple with diverse issues, including that of development, especially with the advent of technology and the invention of machine. To survive, nations have found themselves struggling with diverse plans and strategies in all spheres of life, and have devoted a lot to the promotion of learning and education in its formal context. It is generally believed that it's only through acquisition of relevant knowledge and skills education that progress in this technology-driven world can be achieved.
Skills training under the NSQF. Rectors need to understand what the Nigerian Skills Qualification Framework is, and the need to conduct skills training in polytechnics under that framework, approved by the Federal Executive Council in 2017. Secondly, improving the skill contents of technical education. I'm talking here of national diploma and higher national diploma. The level of skills content is depreciating. You get ND graduates, HND graduates without the requisite hands-on skills. This workshop is supposed to address that. How do we improve on the skills content of technical education?
Women and youths have been identified as major catalysts to achieving sustainable progress in any country. This is just as the renewed call has come at a one-day conference to awaken the noble giants in every Nigerian if the nation is to overcome our present challenges. The convener, Asiwaju, Distinguished Ambassadors Movement, Adam Princess Folashade Olabanjioba, who spoke to the participants at the conference, called on everyone to inculcate the great virtues of selflessness, patriotism, and dedication attributed to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also advised that everyone gets their PVCs in a bid to ensure they are prepared for the 2023 general elections.
We need to make sure the transitional remains peaceful and credible. Our leader is one of the greatest Democrats of all times. So that's why we're saying it's in choices. But we know there's no better choice than our leader. And we have said, tested and trusted, you can bank on him. It's all about peaceful, credible. Those two words, he's saying, let us please make sure that this is not going to be the last election for all of us. When there is life.
Good health. So we have so many youth in politics, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an example of that. We are only looking at the current situation. Asiwaju in 1992, and that was like 20-something years ago, about almost 30 years ago. Remove 30 years from 69, what do you have, 39? So he joined politics at the age of 39. So it is because we are looking at the astronomical change that has happened to him in a couple of years. That's why we're saying youth are not there. We experience, what matter is experience. Experience is what we are going to put on the table. We have
7 out of 8 All Progressive Congress governorship aspirants have demanded for the suspension of the ongoing primaries in Ekiti State. The aspirants Kayode Mojo, Demola Kupola, Femi Bamishile, Bamidele Paparushi, Dayo Adeyeye, Opeyemi Bamidele and Afolabi Oluwashola are protesting alleged irregularities in the conduct of the party primaries. They front the party secretariat in Ado-Ekiti with their supporters on Thursday, claiming the process has been manipulated to favor Abiodun Oyebanji, who is tagged Governor Kayode Fayemi's preferred choice. They also accused the superintendent officials of distributing voting materials earlier than scheduled with a sinister objective to give a sole aspirant an edge. They warned that the controversial primaries may spell doom for the party as a result of the election will not be acceptable.
He had already given these people all the election materials. They are doing whatever they like with the result sheets. Supporters of one of the aspirants. For how long are we going to continue with this kind of thing in Nigeria? So there is no election going on anywhere in Ekiti State. The whole process is a farce. There's nothing going on anywhere in Ekiti State. It's only the supporters of one of the aspirants, Mr. Abiodun Oyebanji, that has all the materials for the election.
If they want to fail in June 18, or if they don't want to fail June 18, they need to stop whatever they are doing now and let us reorganize, recompose the list of people that are going to conduct this election, and then we go to the field and do the election.
The summary of everything we are saying is that the electoral process has been hijacked by officials of Ekiti State government. The process has been hijacked from the election committee that was set up in Abuja, that was sent to Ekiti. They are not the ones in charge. People both said that the results of this primary election would be written. We all thought it was a joke because we thought people in government here were too civilized to do that. That was our thought. But this money is playing out. Election materials, sensitive election materials that were meant to be distributed at this secretariat before 8 a.m. this morning in the presence of aspirants or their agents were distributed between 10 p.m. and 12 midnight last night.
Describes the conduct of the exercise as peaceful. Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State says he is ready to abide by any mode adopted by the APC National Secretariat for the conduct of the state forthcoming gubernatorial primary election in February 19. The governor said gave his word while speaking during his second-day statewide consultation visit to Ife Federal Constituency. The governor was first at the palace of the Ogunsua in Modakeke before moving to the venue of the meeting and later the palace of the Onirisha of Ife, where it was hosted by the Obalufe, who represented the Oni. Speaking, Oyetola said his administration is a peace-loving one and as such will accept any mode the national body chooses to use to conduct the primary election in the state. The governor commended members and leaders at various levels in the constituency for their peaceful disposition and urged them to remain as a united family within the party. They promised to accede to most of their requests in the area, particularly as it concerns infrastructural development and other democratic dividends. Earlier, the Oluomo of Modayeke Fatai Kolawole had lauded the governor for giving them a fair share of dividends of democracy through infrastructural development and political appointment. Speaking at the Enowa Square, Senator Iyola Omishore expressed conviction that Oyetola would emerge the party's flag bearer in the primary election and victory is surely certain in the July 16 general election.
I'm particularly very elated by the turn of events. The crowd is very impressive. And Urage has one unique characteristic. When they're on the page, they're on the page. They are never divided. From what you have seen, it is obvious. Whether direct, indirect, consensus, we are ready for it.
He has done rules in Morayeke, and he has also given appointment to some of our people. More importantly, he has opened his door wide for us. That's very important.
We are receiving Mr. Governor with happiness because we know his impact in this state of Osun, and we want him to continue his work.
We are here to be party members only. I know the primaries. So there's a procedure of the party that must be party primaries. So we want to consult with the party leadership, the structure of the party. So when it's time call, they vote for our candidates. So now you can see it's obvious and expressing that we are surely close for victory by God's grace.
People have been longing to see him. Finally, he's here. A lot of work has been going on before he's coming. I can tell you categorically that Ife this time has decided to give everything, whatever it takes, to make sure that this amiable governor return to power.
Still in Osun State, the government has flagged off dredging of waterways, streams and many rivers in the state to prevent loss of lives, flooding and its attendant environmental pollution. The government is carrying out the project in all the local government areas across the state in collaboration with the State Association of Local Government of Nigeria, Argon. It kick-started the exercise with Olumesi River in Eduabo, Ife North local government area of the state. Special Advisor on Environment, Rufus Oyegbile, told journalists that the dredging will assuage adverse effects which residents and farmers usually experience during rainy season, while lawmaker representing the constituency at the State House of Assembly, Olatunji said the river was dredged a decade ago and has since been causing damages to homes and belongings of farmers and others in the community. He lauded the state governor for the project and other people-oriented interventions in the community, as he expressed hope that they will facilitate development and engender ripple effects to the economy. The state Argon chairman, Abiodun Idowos, also said the governor gave approval for the dredging out of consideration for the welfare of the people.
And Mr. Governor, in collaboration with Argon, has decided again to carry out this dry season dredging so that we can have qualitative and quantitative dredging. The width can be widened, the depth can be dug, and you can see the embankment, the material dug, when put by the side, the embankment, during the dry season, it will form a sort of hard, stony embankment.
The last time something of this nature was done was actually close to a decade. And that tells you that it's been so long a year. So I'm happy, I'm excited that today we're witnessing the dredging of the Olumesi River. Once this is completed, I'm sure life will restore back to normalcy. I
think it's a good development which the people of the society in Osun State must give kudos to the governor. The exercise is supposed to be carried out in almost all parts of the state where we have threats to life and property.
It has been there for long. Even the first time the dredging took place, the water was not flowing well.
But we thank Mr. Governor for taking it worthy that this place should be dredged. It has become a nuisance to the entire community because this stream, as we are looking at it, transcends the whole Ife North.
We'll take a quick break and return for foreign stories right after. Welcome back. The death toll from a storm that struck 3 southern African countries rose to 70 on Thursday as emergency teams battled to repair damaged infrastructure and help tens of thousands of victims. Packing torrential rains, tropical storm Anna made landfall Monday in Madagascar before plowing into Mozambique and Malawi. Rescue workers and authorities across the 3 countries were still assessing the full extent of the damage. Madagascar has reported 41 dead, with 18 others killed in Mozambique and 11 in Malawi. Remnants of the storm have passed over Zimbabwe, but no deaths have been reported there. In the 3 hardest hit countries, tens of thousands of homes were damaged. Some collapsed under the heavy rain, trapping victims in the rubble. Germany and the US have warned they could target a key Russian gas pipeline if the country invades Ukraine. A US State Department spokesman said the Nord Stream 2 pipeline will not move forward if Russia were to attack. The controversial energy project is designed to double gas flow and runs from Russia direct to Germany under the Baltic Sea. It circumvents Ukraine, which relies on existing pipelines for income and is under threat from Russian forces. Tens of thousands of Russian troops have massed on Ukraine's borders in recent weeks, prompting fears of an invasion, despite repeated Russian denials of any plan to attack. On Wednesday, the U.S. rejected Russia's key demand to bar Ukraine from joining the NATO military alliance while offering Moscow a serious diplomatic path forward. President Vladimir Putin is currently assessing the proposal, a spokesman said on Thursday. And that's it on the news. We'll bring you more in our primetime bulletin at 9:30. Meanwhile, keep watching MITV. I am Tomisi Ujo. Good evening.